Welcome back to Your Voice. Indian Ambassador to the United States, Nirupama Rao, recently visited the Indian Consulate in New York City. Let's join her and see what she had to say. People gathered and mingled as they awaited hearing from Indian Consul General Prabhu Dayal.
I'm so glad that Sahara One is here to cover this evening's reception, which has been hosted by us in honor of Her Excellency Mrs. Nirupama Rao, Ambassador of India to the United States. And her popularity is evident from the fact that there is such a big turnout of members of the Indian American community here this evening. I do hope that this evening will enable members of the Indian American community to meet the ambassador and to greet her as great friends of India and to continue the good work which they have been doing.
This is a good event organized by our Consul General. It gives opportunity to meet and greet the ambassador. The ambassador will get to know the problems and issues all NRIs are facing here. And we at Indian National Overseas Congress really support these kind of events. And we look forward to work as a bridge between the Indian government and the American government and the NRIs. This is the role Indian National Overseas Congress wants to play, and I congratulate Prabhu Dayal for organizing this dinner reception for the ambassador.
We'll now hear from Nirupama Rao herself.
Privileged to be here this evening. The Consul General has been speaking to me for some time, urging me to come to New York, and he told me that he wanted to do this reception to meet with all the distinguished representatives of the Indian American community here in New York and in the surrounding areas. And I took up his offer because I was also very keen to meet with all of you. It's always, for me, I think, it's like coming up for oxygen when you meet the bright, the enterprising, the enormously successful, and the very patriotic Indian American community. So a most inspiring group of people, and for us who work for the government, and they always say, I remember that sign about the Vidhana Saudha building in Bangalore which says, government work is God's work. And therefore, I think we're all in this together. We have goals to fulfill, and we have a cause to uphold, and that is essentially the cause of India and the cause of the partnership between India and the United States, which has improved this partnership by great leaps and bounds in recent years. It's a partnership between two of the world's most important democracies. The United States, as they say, the world's oldest new democracy, and India, the newest and the largest democracy in the world when you compare the two. But we have so much in common, so many values that are shared, so many concerns that we address together, and so many goals that we would like to see fulfilled through this cooperation. And when you look at the population of this country, about over 300, little over 300 million, and you have the Indian American community, which is about 3 million and a little over it, and it's a 1% that's a very different 1%. 1% that makes a difference, a 1% that contributes to the welfare of communities in which you live. It's a 1% that makes all of us proud because you do so much for people. All that you do is for people in terms of the research, in terms of the new discoveries that you make, in terms of the businesses that you build, in terms of the manner in which you promote the cause of India here in America, the manner in which you build bridges between our two countries. For after all, what is diplomacy? Diplomacy is about building bridges. It's about connecting people. It's about bringing distant lands together. And America and India may be separated geographically by many thousands of miles, but we are very close as far as our hearts are concerned. So in many ways, I think it mirrors India. India is a much older, much more ancient country, but it's also a very young nation. It's a nation that is growing from strength to strength, that is still facing a lot of challenges. And people here, all of you, can do much to explain to the United States, to the people, to the citizens of the United States, what India is about, what are the challenges that we face, what is the diversity that we celebrate, what is the power of India's example. I think all that you are able, I'm sure, to articulate to audiences here, to your fellow Americans, and make them understand really what the magic and the mystery and the vital meaning of India is today.
That's all for this week's episode of the show that lets your voice be heard. And since this show is only possible because of you, keep sending us your valuable feedback at yourvoice@globosatend.com, and be sure to visit us on the web at gen-i.us.com. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Juhi Desai. Sahara Pranam.